Hi, I know you want to build your very next project using Supabase. So this video is just going to be a guide on how you get started, navigate the terminal, the dashboard, and I'm going to share you my experience building my project using Supabase. But before it gets complicated, let's just get started. First, to know about what actually is Supabase. Basically, Supabase is backend as a service. It's open source and it basically helps developers like you to build web and mobile application without having to build the backend from scratch. That's interesting, right? But even also interesting is the fact that you get to have your database. Of course, that's going to be PostgreSQL because it runs us on PostgreSQL machine. Then you are going to also incorporate your authentication very easily. I'm talking about your sign up, sign in authentication. It's easily incorporated in Supabase. And again, you are also going to be able to write edge functions, right? If we say edge functions, we are talking about functions that are serverless functions using Deno. Deno is a very nice tool, fast, that you can use in Supabase to do all of these. And again, you are going to have ability to manage your storage properly, talking about images, we are talking about PDF files, videos, and other storage files are easily managed in just a single place. So we're talking about having your database or all of these things, backend, then database, and all these things just in one place. That's interesting, right? So you say, why not use Firebase? Of course, I've used Firebase in some project, but one thing about Supabase is you have your Firebase, then Supabase basically Firebase plus PostgreSQL, and you also have the freedom of having an open source flexibility that an open source project brings, which you have in Supabase. Before it gets really complex, let's dive into our dashboard. Let's see how it works. So to get started with Supabase, you need to come to supabase.com and click on sign up on Supabase now. So once you come here, you're going to sign up with either your GitHub or your Gmail account. So once you sign up, you go ahead to log in into the account. You can see you create an account by signing up. So once you log in, then you go to create a project. I already have a project. You're going to see this is my name, then this is the project I correctly created on Supabase. So what I'm going to be doing today, I'm going to be taking you through the dashboard of Supabase and guiding you through what is what in the dashboard. And again, I'm going to be showing you practically because I have a project. If you check our VS Code right here, you're going to see that we have this project, which is a pharmacy management system that is actively connected to our running Supabase. So back to the dashboard, I'm just going to come here. So once you get to the dashboard, after you have signed up and as well logged in, you can see once you come here, you're going to see this on my top right hand corner. If I click here, you can see that of course this is my account, and here you see account preference. You can change the theme. This dark mode, you can change it to light mode just like this, but hey, I prefer dark mode. It's better for me, so you can choose your preference. So here there's an AI assistant. All right, if I click here, you're going to see that it's going to open up an AI assistant where you can ask questions about your project. You're going to ask anything you want the AI to help you research. So you want to close it up, you can. There is a little close icon at the top here. It's not that visible. Click on it and it's going to close that up. So again, here we have SQL editor. Okay, these are a place where you are going to write your SQL code snippet. All right, because Supabase, like I already mentioned earlier, it uses
PostgreSQL machine. That's the machine that Supabase runs on. But I don't want to access that here. We are going to come down here to this section to talk about that. So again, we want to close this up. Alright, so once you get here, you can see that we have a running project. Okay, so it's very easy. You can just go ahead. If you haven't created a project, of course you can come here. You can see here I have new project, so you can go ahead to create a project. Okay, so I have a project running here, so you can go ahead, create a new project, and just go ahead to have that. Again, you can see there are themes. It also have billing. All right, then integration, usage. We are not going to focus on all of this for now, but practically I'm going to show you through the project we have running so that you can see how that works. Back to our project. All right, so here at the top right hand, if I come here, you are going to see project overview. All right, this is going to show basic overview about our project. You can see the number of tables we have, then we have functions. I've not used any function here. Replicas. Project status is going to give us the status of our project. All right, you see healthy, edge functions, all of this. If you have any challenge with any of this, is going to reflect here. You can see that here. Then again, down here you're going to see our database. All right, then we have our REST request, then authentication request. There are 5 here. We have storage request. We don't have a real-time request currently running as at this point, so that is going to, so we have 6 issues, and one interesting thing, I'm going to take you through how to fix all of these issues, clear them out. All right, we are going to do that together. That's not a challenge. Then libraries, remember Supabase basically supports both web and mobile development, so you could use it for your React project, Next.js. You could use it for Flutter, React Native. For this particular project, we build it using React Native. So here you could see that you can access all of these docs for Python, C#, JavaScript. Then this is basically for web, as you can see, app framework. Okay, if you go to mobile, you're going to see Expo Starter, Swift user, Flutter, then Swift and all that. So I just want you to understand, to know the potential you have while you are using Supabase. Okay, back here we have our table. If I go to my table section, you're going to see the number of tables we have created. If you count all of these, I think there are 9 according to what we saw earlier. So if I come here to the first one, it's going to show up. Okay, let's say inventory table. So this project is about our products we have in our farm software here that are currently running. Okay, it's just talked about stock, product stocks, and the rest of them. All right, so farm users, the number of users here I currently have salesperson, manager, admin, then product. Okay, so this is a pharmacy application. We have generic name of product. You can see Panadol here, Rufan, Benylin, Augmentin, and the rest of them. Okay, so then I think it's going to give cost prices. All right, and description. So yeah, so all of these are going to describe our product. Then these are our tables. Take note. Then we have sales item which have not been created yet. Then we have sales. I think that should be empty too. All right, to fix what the issue we had earlier, you can see ROLS disabled. Okay, ROLS simply stands for raw level security. Is the extra layer of security that you add to your Supabase project. So that's one of the benefits for using Supabase. Okay, because it's going to add raw level security both to your authentication, your tables, and all of that. So here I want to add a raw level security so that is going to basically fix one of the problem we had earlier in the project overview. So if I come here, I enable row level security, so that will be enabled. So I think our errors should have reduced to 4. Let me fix one more so that I'll reduce the number of errors we had there. So I'll going to enable this row level, enable row level. All right, that's great. Okay, again, let me resolve this, enable row level. Awesome. Right, so again, I think I have one more, a few more to go. Enable row level. I'm going to enable that. So we cleared all. Okay, so if I go back here to our project overview, I think we still have 2 issues which I'm going to fix later on, but the issue regarding row level security, we have solved all of that already. I think that's a good step in the right direction. So back to our table. So after that, then we have the SQL editor. All right, so this is where we do interesting stuff. Okay, so if this is where you are going to insert your raw PostgreSQL code snippet here. All right, so you can see that we have one running already. We are going to insert into table user all of this information, then all of this. So this is basically pure Postgre snippet. Okay, so that is basically what we do here in our SQL editor. So let's look at what we have in our database. Okay, so basically this is going to be the database schema of our project. As you can see, you can change it to authentication, data for authentication. You can change the schema to extension, Postgre, public. All right, so then we have storage. So these are the, I think these are the data we are currently storing. And one beautiful thing is that you can copy this data as SQL. So you can copy, paste that out. All right, so that you have the data. I think that is going to be pasted in a JSON format. So once you do that, you're going to have all of that information for you to be able to access. So let me just change this back to public. Okay, so back here again we have tables. I think we have looked through this again. All right, awesome. So here we can add more tables to what we have already. This is what the number of tables we have. I think about 9 of them, and this is the rows sizes. Okay, so this is just going to give you an overview of what you, and again you can create a new table here by just going ahead to click on this new table here. It's going to enable you create a new table. Okay, then we have the functions. Of course, you can create functions by coming here. I have not done that for this project, but you can create a new function here. Name of function, the schema is going to be public. Then you can change that to whatever schema suits your project. All right, so that is going to be, then of course you can go ahead to check out the doc here, to read the documentation about that. Then we have database trigger. Okay, so this enables us basically to automatically execute actions on any particular table. So we can execute any action on any particular table. So all of these, we enabled database triggers on this table. So table enumeration. So I'll go back. For now, let's focus on the most important stuff. Okay, so here we have authentication, which is the most important, one of the most important part of what we are doing right now. So authentication, which is going to control how users are able to access our application. Okay, so basically if you look at what we have here, for this example we have about 3 users, salesperson, manager, admin for our project. So you can add as many users as possible. Then again you are going to set different level of security for each user. Okay, what is the admin capable of doing, manager, then whatever you want to add to your project, you can actually do that. Okay, so of course you can add a new user here by clicking here. Okay, you can create it or send an invitation. Of course, if you do that, then the user can get a code and you can add that user from there. But we are adding a user from the backend of our project. Okay, so again, let's go to policies. We are still in authentication, remember. Okay, so here you can see that all of these tables that we created, we have row level security, which I talked about earlier. Okay, but there are no policies. Do not bother yourself for now about this, because I won't dive too deep about policy. But row level security, I think I've talked a little about that earlier. Okay, but for this is our tables that we have for our project. So the policies basically is talking about who can see what. Okay, if we create a policy, it's going to basically make us understand or help us set up who is going to see that part of your. So here you can see that it's going to set the permission, okay, to if it's going to be public. All right, then it's going to help you set up who is going to be able to access that part of the table. But I don't want to set that up for now. Let me just close that. Okay, so then we have sign in stroke provider. All right, so this is going to for our Supabase authentication. Okay, so here you can see that we turned on allow new user to sign up. Okay, that means we can be able to sign up new users. But if we turn that off, that means new users will not be able to sign up into the application until we are able to change that settings. Okay, then allow manual linking of API to your project. I think, yeah, allow anonymous sign up. So these are basic sign up procedure which you should be familiar with when you are using Supabase. Then we have, if you scroll down a little, then you're going to see auth providers. Okay, there are different ways you can authenticate your user. One of the most the commonest way is through email authentication, but you have other method, which is phone, when they provide their contact number, then SML 2.0. I've not really used that before. Web3 wallet, Solana specifically. Then we have the Apple, Azure, Bitbucket, and Discord. So these are different ways. It depends on the one you are setting up that will help you or help authenticate the users. Okay, then sections basically is going to control the time of login, then the number of times, change of login information, then token usage, user sections. All of these are what we focus on when we are talking about this section under our authentication. Then we have rate. I don't really want to dwell much on this because this had to do with sending mails, email tokens, and for verification. So I want us to look at email. Okay, email. So if you are setting up an email for your authentication, then this part you have to pay attention to it, because this is going to show you the setup procedure that you are going to use for your application. So right here we have, if you are going to confirm sign up through a confirmation, then your user is going to, if they log in, if they sign up, then they are going to put their email to confirm their authentication after signing up. Or you can decide to invite them. All right, then you can also decide to use a magic link by sending them a magic link, or change email address. Okay, then you can decide if you want to do reset password or re-authentication. So these are various methods, email provider. Then multi-factor, I believe this talks about using different factors, actually called MFA, multi-factor. You can use your email, use an OTP, then use phone number to verify to authenticate a user. Okay, so, and different procedures. All right, so let us leave out the other part for now, then let's look at storage. I don't want to pay much attention to this. Then we have edge functions. Okay, so for edge function is what basically help us to handle logic. Okay, so there are preview functions that help you handle different logic. You can see is it about sending a mail, there is a logic for that, which I just clicked on. And if you are going to incorporate Stripe into your project, like we have right here, Stripe webhook. All right, this is going to be how you go about it. Okay, it's very important you look through this critically so that you understand how that works. Then if it's going to be regarding OpenAI text completion, Express server, so all of these different end functions that are going to help you create work around that. So you can create a secret edge function secret and manage the secret of your project edge functions. All right, so that is that about edge functions. So this part, basically, let me start from the right now. Project settings, of course this is the name of our project. Then we have an ID, project ID. Then you can actually delete your project if you no longer need it. Of course, I'm not deleting this one for any reason. So yeah, so this is the project settings that help you set up everything, majorly the basic features of your project. So integrations. Okay, so again you can decide to integrate maybe different okay, so this part you can see we can integrate all of this like Firebase wrapper, database webhook, GraphQL, which is yes, we can, yes, of course we can integrate this. Of course, is already installed by the way. Then you can have other types of wrappers, Redis wrapper. Okay, if you need to do caching for your project, you can see Stripe wrapper, which is a payment gateway. So then Slack wrapper. So all of this you can integrate into your project. So Supabase provide this option for you to use in your project. Okay, so these are docs, API docs, which guide you on how to go about setting up your API. So of course this is by no way non-exhaustive, but I'm going to make another video where we dive deep into all of this, but I just did this to give you a general overview of how you go through Supabase. All right, I believe you got value. Please, comment, like. I'm going to see you in the next video.